Yo, so what's going on, man? It's your boy T.O.P., man. It's the vibe. You know what I mean? You are joining me here today on the Rich Soul. And, today, I want to come and just be able to talk about a few things that I feel are pretty important, on your journey to manhood. I feel like, I had to take a step back, I want to talk to, my immediate following right now for everybody who's really been rocking with me and, my entrepreneurial endeavors and my journey. I wanted to be able to speak to y'all real quick and just be like, I had to take a step back, and kind of just find my own version of happiness and what my version of success looked like without really being tampered or being affected by the opinions or, the weight of, what I felt like I was competing against at the time, and I just had to kind of take a step back and just collect myself and really reevaluate some things. And that's what's empowering me to be able to come forward, to y'all today, with this clarity. I think that, with your journey into manhood, and this is, I would just say adulthood in general, just so, we're not, excluding the ladies, because I'm not excluding y'all. Just, I'm speaking to my brothers, but I am speaking to all of us when I say, this journey into manhood / adulthood takes a lot of accountability, and I think that in order to take accountability, sometimes you got to take a step back, and to take yourself to that next level, sometimes you just got to take a step back, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be able to do that. What I encourage, when as far as, trying to achieve that clarity, like when you take a step back, that accountability, you have to just be honest with yourself about like what you can and can't do. And can't isn't a matter of physical things like, oh, I physically can't do that. It's just more of like, I can and can't do that right now at this time. What's more profitable for me as a decision, because it comes down to our decisions, as far as where we end up, your decisions, in childhood, decisions are free. I like to say that, I like to say that decisions are free. Because, you pay the price for decisions, there's always a price to pay, but, as a child, in childhood, the price to pay isn't as heavy for decisions, so when we reach manhood, adulthood, sometimes the life or the world will come crashing down on you, because of, the decisions, the collective decisions that you've been making. It might not even be one bad decision, two bad decisions, but it could just be a consistent, it doesn't even have to be bad decisions. It could just be, uninformed decisions. It could just be immature decisions, just as far as, you were only 18, you were only 15, when you made a certain decision that could have, but, decisions they don't cost us as much, earlier on in life, depending on the situation, and as you start to reach this pinnacle of, I would say, like we say in manhood right now, adulthood, when you start to really come into this journey, I'll say that decisions are everything, and that's the tax, and in order to make better decisions, you have to take accountability, and a lot of people don't want to take accountability. We live in a point the finger type society. And that's just something that I feel like we all have to really just, we have to cope with that. We have to cope with that. We have to let people know that, like, look, I'm okay with messing up. I'm okay with making a mistake. You know what I mean? Because I know that I'm going to get right back out there and try again, or I'm going to learn from this mistake and I'm going to come back, with a different approach, and without accountability, you can't reapproach anything. You know what I mean? So that's what's tough, you want to be able to approach things correctly, and it's okay to reevaluate the approach. Sometimes you got to get out your ego to do that, because in order to reevaluate the approach, you have to admit that you did something wrong. Let's go back to accountability, right? So that accountability, you know what I'm saying, that you'll take will also give you a certain peace. As men, we have to have that. I don't care, as humans, we have to have that. You know what I'm saying? As humans, we have to have that. We have to have that ability, man, to step out of the ego, admit that we were wrong in something, and reapproach the situation with a better approach, with a better strategy, with a better game plan. And that's part of growing. I feel like, sometimes, we get conditioned to think that, we're done growing, we're done evolving at 18 or something like that, or at a certain age, I just kind of want to share this. I remember I can go back to my college days, and I remember my first day at college, I looked across the room and there was a lady, she was like 60 years old. And I remember at that moment, that's when I knew I was dropping out. I was like, I'm done. And it wasn't like I'm knocking college, because I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I knew at that moment, like when I looked across, I was like, you got forever. And sometimes you don't have forever, but she's in there, 60 years old, she took the time she needed, she didn't rush it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you have forever, but you have time, and I feel like we all do have an abundance of time, like regardless, it's just how we want to choose. Like for instance, let's just be men about it right now. Like, okay, let's just say, I have a goal that I'm trying to achieve. And then, I'm giving the excuse, because that's what goes on a lot. Like people come up with goals and people come up with aspirations that they want to achieve. And then they can't get there because it's like the time, how did they utilize that time all the way throughout that? Meaning like, okay, cool. Like you had 3 weeks. What'd you do? It's like, okay, like what about all that time that you was tricking off on the game? You know what I'm saying? What about all that time that you was tricking off on the phone? Like you just got to break down what you're spending the abundance on, because the abundance is there. You know what I mean? And I think that like once we sit down and we plan our time, discipline, take accountability for our own lives, I think that that's when the organization, that next level organization comes in, and we're able to make better decisions, that allow us to grow at maybe a faster rate than the person next to us. You know what I mean? Just because we were able to admit, take accountability, you know what I mean? Get rid of the ego, just understanding like, damn, like the way I'm doing things right now might not be working, and, like to go back, I had to take a step back because it was like, there was a lot of things that I was doing that were working, on the contrary, they were working. And it was just like, I saw that if I keep going down this path, like I'm going to end up somewhere, like even though it'll be successful, I'll end up being somewhere I don't want to be, or around people that I don't want to be, because I'm making unnecessary sacrifices now. So let me take a step back, because those are the decisions that I wanted to make. I feel like, when you put yourself, like I put myself in a few, unfortunate situations, I would say on the come up, as, what my nigga Jersey say, you say, niggas caught me slipping. Okay, so what? But, you put yourself in bad situations to learn, but, when you really take that accountability, you look at that decision like, damn, I put myself in that situation 3 months ago, even though it happened yesterday. Like I put myself in that situation 3-4 months ago when I befriended such and such, or I put myself in that situation 6 months ago when I decided to have my character, my energy, and my karma around this energy and this karma and mix it in. And, you make those conscious but unconscious decisions, but subconscious decisions, the more correct term, I guess you could say, and it comes down to that, bro. Like you just got to take accountability for all your faults. Like, like I was saying, I was doing pretty well. I was making a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was blessed at the time, not saying that it's not like that now. I'm just saying like, at the time I was doing pretty well. I was, I thought I was doing something. I'm coming up, I'm on the come up. I thought I had all the right people around me as far as what I valued at the time. And I saw that, damn, this value doesn't really go far on the next level. You know what I'm saying? And I was blessed to realize that, like this doesn't really go on the next level, man. So what I got to do is I got to kind of just back it up and realize that, especially like when certain things start to happen, one thing go wrong, this go wrong, you're looking at like, damn, I put myself in this situation some time ago, making these decisions some time ago. This is just what it added up to. So, it's all about decisions and how you're spending that abundance. Like we all have it. They try to say that we don't have forever. I'm not trying to say that we have forever, but we have an abundance. You know what I'm saying? We have an abundance and we all spend it the way we want to spend it. Yeah, and I feel like that accountability will help you realize that. That's what I mean when I say that peace, that peace. It gives you that peace, that accountability, because there is no pointing the finger. When you got to point the finger, it brings anxiety. When you got to point the finger at somebody else, when you have to, when you have to, come up with a reason why something's going on that's outside of you, like that causes anxiety. You know what I mean? Because 9 times out of 10, you're not all the way right. You know what I mean? It's probably off of assumptions, and then on top of that, it's like, it's out of your control. So it's like now, you doubling down on your spirit, with negative energy, with traumatic energy, you trying to place the blame, that you trying to take that pain real quick and you trying to throw and throw that on somebody else real quick because you want somebody else to feel how you feeling, and boom, it really didn't do nothing for you because, you too busy pointing the finger like, oh, such and such and such and such, such and such and such and such. You was never able to get to the root of the problem. You weren't looking in the right place, and I think that's just what it comes down to, so it's like we could go through and be like, yeah, such and such did this to me, X, Y, Z, blah, 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 or I don't have the time to do this, or we could just take accountability and just realize like, you're going to spend the time this week on what you want to spend it on. You know what I mean? Period. And that's just how it goes, like think about all the times that, let's just talk about it, like let's talk about all the times that, you spent all that time chasing that girl, you know what I'm saying? Or how many hours did you kick it with her that week? You know what I mean? And then you didn't even end up with her in the long run, but, your excuse was that you didn't have time, but the abundance was there. You just spent the abundance, you know what I'm saying, on something else. So, that's definitely something to, to keep in mind, but, that's why it's good to have those people around you, that hold you accountable. And I would say that that's what's been blessed for me, as of the last few years. Like I was been real disciplined, as far as, who I have around me, what we're doing, what we're talking about, how we're thinking, how we're dressing, how we're spending our money. Like these conversations like became consistent, amongst us, and that's where we stuck and we kept our time, and the elevation came naturally, because it's just like, it's the same energy, we're hanging around the same energy, you keeping that energy that you want to be, you keeping it close, you know what I'm saying? Like if you feel like you see yourself in somebody's eyes, keep them close, you know what I mean? You never know, they might show you another shade of yourself that you never thought was there, and I think that that's what I'm blessed with, like I've been blessed, man. Like I have a personal guru, that I want to give a shout out to. But he's also like one of my best friends, and my boy Akeem Pierre over here with RichSoul Foods, which is another chapter of our movement. He's so disciplined, like when it comes to the practices, you know what I'm saying, of healing. You know what I mean? And he's helped me come into the discipline because I didn't have the discipline to heal. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us want to heal, but I didn't have the discipline to heal. I still wanted to fuck around. I still kind of wanted to have this, have that. Your cake and eat it too, even though that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Because what's the point of having cake if you can't eat it? I always hated that phrase. But I would say like, he's big on the discipline, and he's helped me really digest and download that discipline that's necessary for healing. And, I'm talking to men right now, but I am talking to adults. I'm talking to humans, as far as like, if you want to heal from what, your traumas, you got to take accountability, man, and you got to keep it honest with yourself, and you got to be disciplined, because you got to be disciplined enough to not do the things that, hurt you, like you don't, a lot of people like think about the women or even the men, saying, that stay in abusive relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's healthy or not, it's just one of those things where, we also got to be disciplined enough to make those hard decisions and understand that, there's going to be some sacrifice as far as like getting better. So, the discipline is in the sacrifice, you know what I mean? And, that the sacrifice is also just with that ego, being able to take accountability, you know what I mean, for, your mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that, I feel like I've really focused on, my circle has changed, just because of this discipline. I think that, there was a point in time where, like everything kicked off so fast, when we started the music, when we started RichSoul's music group, and what we wanted to do, we were kind of, we weren't equipped to do what we wanted to do, and that was the thing. Like we weren't equipped, but like we had the mental capacity to do what we wanted to do. And, we just didn't have the personnel. But, it's all about what people think they see. Like, sometimes they look at the industry and they feel like, okay, like I want this, I want this, I want that, but they don't really know what it takes to get that. Like they don't want to take the proper steps. They don't want to get themselves set up properly. You know what I mean? Especially when we're talking about going independent. You know what I mean? Like you could either be walking around here looking for a handout in most things, or, you could really apply yourself, and take that accountability. Like, and that was what I was saying, just like inside your circle, you're going to need to have those next level conversations. So it's like some people had to get cut and pushed to the next, out the way, you know what I mean? So our minds could vibe, you know what I mean, at the way that they needed to vibe, because it was just like, you got people around you that don't want it that way. Like you do, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to take that accountability. You know what I mean? They don't want to wake up, look at the numbers and be like, yeah, I need to get better. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to get up and hit the drawing board. They just kind of, along for the ride. And, carrying people gets exhausting, so when you're trying to carry people and you're trying to grow, which a lot of men do, which is why I'm speaking about this. A lot of men are trying to carry, you're trying to carry your homeboys, you're trying to carry your family, you're trying to carry all of this, and you haven't really like admitted to yourself the truth, on how you want to move. So that's like healing, in a nutshell to me, because it's just like, the beginning of it at least, because, the first step to healing and getting better is to admit or to accept, you know what I mean? Acknowledge, take accountability, so if you're not acknowledging something, it's just like there's no way that if you're not acknowledging something, there's no way that you're going to be able to give it the proper attention that it needs, you know what I mean, for you to be able to reach your outcome. So like there's that, so we want to be able to just take that accountability all the way through and through. And I think that that's part of what makes your soul rich. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to look at yourself in the eyes, man. Can you do that for real? Like, like that's not really, it's not talked about a lot, but like, can you do that for real? Like, can you really like face yourself? You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Because that's the only thing that's really keeping you from getting on that other side. Like it's you. It's us. So it's like sometimes you got to take a step back from you, yourself. Because if you could take that step back, reanalyze, reapproach, reacknowledge, you get what I'm trying to say? You got to take a step back sometimes so you can see sometimes you're just too close. You know what I mean? Too close to be able to see, you know what I mean? It's just right there. It's like you can't read. Just back it up just a little bit so it can come into focus. You know what I mean? So take that step back, you know what I mean, that you're going to need to be able to really get the full picture. You know what I mean? The full picture, because like that's what we're about. It's just wholeness. You know what I mean? It's all about wholeness, and healing has to come in wholeness. It can't come half. It can't come in parts. You can't partially heal because there's no such thing. You're still wounded. You know what I mean? If the wound is partially healed, then that's not healed. You're still wounded. You're still hurt. You're still scarred. You know what I mean? And those are things that you got to deal with, inside of yourself. So I think that the first step to truly healing, like I was saying, is just you got to acknowledge, you got to take accountability so you can approach the situation. You feel me? gotta be able to approach the situation, because it's all in our approach. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like, where men's hearts are at get underrated a lot. I feel like a lot of men's hearts are in the right place. It's just how we communicate it. Also our discipline and how we communicate ourselves. Like, you don't get a lot. You don't get a lot of room as a man, you know what I'm saying? Especially as an indigenous man, you know what I mean? Here in the Americas, you don't get that. So as far as like second, third swings on communicating yourself, you know what I mean? You got to be precise with your communication. And in order to be precise with your communication, that's discipline. Like discipline over your emotions, discipline over your mind, because at that point, when you have discipline over your emotions and your mind, then your communication goes to the next level. When your communication goes to the next level, people are receiving you on another level. The world is receiving you on another level, because you're taking your time, because you've healed, right? You've taken that step back. You took that breather that you needed. You didn't hop back in the game all out of breath, you know what I mean? Where you can't really think. When you're tired, you can't think, can't execute. So that's something that, I want everybody to just really keep in mind, when it comes to this. And, I think that, that's really what I want to leave with y'all today. It's blessed. I want you guys to be able to stay tuned with your boy. We got a lot coming. This is just the first episode of the Rich Soul. So we working on, upgrading our surroundings right now. So, you will see us in a different setting next episode. But I just want to leave that blessings with y'all, because, especially with my brothers out here, man, with the men out here who really need healing. It's just like, hey, sometimes you got to put that time into yourself, man. You just got to take a step back, like, because we all got the abundance. It's just how you spend it, big dog. You know what I mean? And it's okay to take a breath. You know what I mean? So you could take that time to be able to really reevaluate and reapproach things. So with that being said, man, this is your boy Top Angel. You know what I mean? And this is the first episode of The Rich Soul. And I just wanted to say thanks for rocking with your boy, man. It's, stay tuned, because it's going to be a hell of a ride. All right. Bless. Y'all take care.